What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Avarice podcast. Today we're going to be doing the commentary for The Wire Season 1, Episode 11. We're in the home stretch. Kima just got shot working a buy-bust undercover in the last episode. I'm going to have a relatively low output of content this week because of Memorial Day, and I took the day off to just chill and hang out with my family. So I'm just doing the one day of recording this week, so that's why that happened, if you're curious. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get down with the get down here. I don't have a lot of time to waste. I know I normally have a ritual of making a cup of coffee, sitting down smoking a bowl before I start playing, but in the interest of time for this recording, I'm just gonna get to the show. So if that catches you off guard and you want to make yourself a cup of coffee and smoke a bowl, feel free to pause and do that and then jump back in, or do it while you listen. Those of you that are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Don't worry about it. You'll get acclimated later. So, episode 11 from season 1 of The Wire. I'm streaming it on Amazon Prime, and I'm pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. It's not HBO, it's regular ass TV. So this is the scene, the after effects, the wake of Kima's shooting, as they try to put together the pieces and figure out what happened. When it's quite obvious, if you understand, like, criminal street mentality, it's pretty obvious what happened. They don't trust this fucking fool. It's actually... it's kind of amazing that they would even try to rip off Orlando in this fashion. They being Weebay, Savino, Lil Man. Because they knew he got arrested. They knew that he needed to be worked out of the mix. And instead of putting the pieces together and connecting the dots and realizing that he might be working with the cops and trying to do a sting, they thought that they were just going to take his money and kill him. So they didn't see it coming either. I thought that it was the obvious, like... once he's been arrested, you don't deal with him at all. You don't talk to him about any criminal activity. You send him a black rose and call it a day. This is one of the most redeemable episodes for Rawls and his character. He's mostly a heartless prick. He's a cunt. But he kind of shows his mettle here in organizing all this, and his ability to kind of talk McNulty and everybody through it. Needed to use Gorilla Tape. The gun came untaped and slid behind the seat, so she couldn't get to it. Or she could have defended herself, at least somewhat. There was multiple shooters. She probably still would have been fucked. And the signpost does end up being turned. Orlando told Kima about that, said the hoppers be turning the signpost to fuck with y'all. So when they were trying to, when she was trying to give her location, she didn't even know where she was at, even if she had seen the signs. But now they really goofed, because they shot a cop, they've got anybody and everybody working on this case. The big dogs of the fucking police department are down there looking at footprints and looking for fingerprints and trying to figure out what's going on. This box has been opened. They did not want to walk down this trail. I can't believe that an organization that is disciplined as the Barksdale organization is would think it was a good idea to try to do this with Orlando. I'm a little bit baffled by that decision. Like, picture that being The Godfather. If one of the Godfather's dudes, if one of Al Pacino's guys had gotten arrested, and then he comes to Al and wants to do like a $10,000 fucking I guess he never dealt drugs, but you see what I'm saying? There's no way that a smart, ruthless gangster type enterprise like that wouldn't see that move from the cops coming. Of course that's what the cops are going to try to do. It's so obvious. Might be a little bit of a hole in the writing, you could say. It is a... I don't know if it subverts your expectations, but it is still shocking in an emotional moment, and it's one of those cliffhangers that really makes you want to watch the next episode. Luckily for me, by the time I discovered this, it was all done, so I could binge it. But I wonder what the experience was like to hang on every episode and have to wait another week and really live through it that way. I'm kind of surprised Game of Thrones hit me as hard as it did, because I never had the opportunity to kind of hang on every episode like that, except for this last season. The first couple seasons I watched when they happened, and then I had a long break. And then last year I watched seasons 1 through 7 all the way through. So then I was all caught up when season 8 happened, and I was still so fucking disappointed, even though I didn't have that much invested in it. I just knew what was possible, and it didn't turn out even close to what it could have been. It was like the opposite of WrestleMania. Pro wrestling builds tension because they ultimately know they're going to give you what you want. They know what you want, and they push your buttons appropriately. This last season of Game of Thrones, it was just like, fuck everybody, we're out. And it took 2 years to make that. That's because of, the production value was off the charts. All the editors, producers, cinematographers, CGI team, all that is exceptional. But the writing, the goddamn writing. I won't turn this into a Game of Thrones. So now at the hospital, you've got assholes that don't even know who Kima is down there just to save face and make an appearance and a statement. They don't know why she was doing what she was doing. They don't know shit about her. But they got to put on their dress blues and come down and smile for the cameras and talk to the press. Shake hands, jerk everybody off. I also like this scene, or this episode, because it gives you an idea of why the people who are in positions of authority in the police department are in those positions. You get to see that Landsman actually knows what the fuck he's doing out here in the field. When he's on the ground level at a scene, he knows what he's doing. Rolls, when he's at the ground level, he knows what he's doing. I like that that's worked into it, because you like to see a level of competence in your leadership so that the subordinates have confidence in them. It's hard for me to follow you if I don't think you can do my job, or that you even know how. And Jimmy is just fucking beside himself. He's an emotional guy. You can kind of tell that by his character. He really builds things up and gets excited about things and invests himself in things, but then when shit goes wrong, it's a really big low. It's like me watching Blazers games. I hang on every fucking play. I live and die with every basket. So when they're successful, I'm really happy. When they're not successful, I'm fucking in the dumps because I invest myself in it. That's not really an equal comparison. We're talking, he's a cop and we're talking about a woman's life, but just the type of person who gives so much of themselves to something like that, they're leaving themselves vulnerable to either a great high or a drastic low. Our plan is to fucking launch over it and then give body massages. Who wants a body massage? Mr. Body Massage Machine, go. Body massage. I don't know if they still hold up today, but when YouTube was in its infancy and the internet was really just getting its legs, there were some PSA videos by My Way Entertainment, G.I. Joe PSAs that they redid and overdubbed the voices for, and they were some of the funniest fucking things I'd ever seen in my life. My friends and I spent an entire summer quoting those lines back and forth to each other. Again, I don't know if they'd be funny to kids today, but we fucking loved them. I actually originally watched them on ebombsworld.com. Old school internet shit. But that's where I got that body massage thing from. Pork chop sandwiches, get the fuck out of here. My God, that smelled good. People go to bed, they think everything's fine. Then they wake up and they're on fire. And this seems a little slow, but they're hanging on the importance of it. When a cop goes down, they take that shit seriously. That becomes priority numero uno. There's one thing they do not tolerate. It's violence against their own. And Stringer knew about it. That's the fucked up part. Stringer's too smart for that. Stringer knows better than to let them do this with Orlando. He just does. He just does.
Lab tech for this spot. Photos and cast.
It's such a critical moment of the season, though. I get it. That's some amateur shit right there. They took their clothes off and just threw them in the trees off to the side. They weren't looking at it from the right, but they didn't realize they were killing or shooting a cop. They thought they were just killing pimpin' ass Orlando, and that nobody was going to care to look this thoroughly.
You stop running. Either you got tired or you got into a car. Right. 11:34. I'm in the 3,000 block of Landvale.
All these fucking dark, deserted alleyways. Like, it's inherently creepy. It's a good scene for a scary movie, honestly. It's got a seedy feel to it.
My people at the scene have heard this already. It's a copy of the original.
Oh, this is a bit rough, especially for Jimmy. Where the fuck is the tape recorder? That guy's so small. It's the actual recording from Kima's Wire. And it makes Jimmy puke in a garbage can, if I'm not mistaken. You get to see the impact of it on everybody. And they get to really see, now they know where she actually was. And so they get to hear where the mistakes were made. And they have to relive where they went wrong and how they could have done better. That would be rough to listen to. If you knew her, like she's one of your colleagues, your compadres, and you got to listen to her get shot like that. Now Rawls is gonna give Jimmy the come to Jesus speech. Not come to Jesus, he just sets his mind right. Lets him know this shit happens, charge it to the game. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to deal with these things, but it's not your fault. The entire world doesn't live and die on your shoulders. See, he feels responsible because he started the case. None of them would have been involved in any of this if he hadn't gone and ran his mouth to the judge.
Or a gaping asshole. We both know this. Fuck if everybody in CI
But
doesn't.
I appreciate this from Rawls because
And so you
he draws the line. He says, I don't like you. You know I don't like you.
did not do this.
You know you're a pain in my ass.
This is not on you.
But this particular issue is not your fault. Nobody is blaming this.
Fuck for saying this.
It's kind of an ego thing, I guess. Yeah, he's
So you know if it was on you,
he is
I did this something.
overreacting to make it more about him than it needs to be.
Shit went bad.
She took one for the company. Took two for the company.
That's the only lesson here.
Better have a hell of a retirement plan. Whatever cops get paid is not enough. To always have that possibility hanging over your head. One day you could not come home, or you could be crippled, a quadriplegic, a vegetable. Your family could be fucked.
No, honey, we're looking for Savino.
No, he's my baby.
Yeah, well, your baby shot a cop.
Wow. That'd be a hell of a thing to hear. So now word's gonna get around, and Stringer and them are gonna find out that Shorty was a cop. As Stringer puts it.
Talking ain't knowing, is it? Skin this cat another way. 2 pages of Stringer tonight, right? Only this one after the shooting.
Now they're gonna reverse engineer based off the call log and try to figure out where the pages came from.
Shit went good, but they were all.
See how cautious Stringer is, but he let them run this. It's kind of bothering me. I've never really noticed it before, but I just don't think they would have tried to run this game on Orlando and risked it like that.
The shit popped off.
They should have seen it coming.
Me, I let the girl walk. She ain't look like the talking type. But little man seen that bogged out, let a couple go. Savino only took her off to that bitch.
So see, you find out that Weebay wouldn't have even shot her. He was just gonna let her go.
After that, he
And so then it would have been curious to know what she saw and if she could have told on him.
thought he was a cop. And she ain't dead.
That's about the worst news that Weebay could hear ever.
She wasn't no cop, man. She was no cop.
Denial.
A storm drain off of Park Heights, man. Fuck wrong with him? This motherfucker bugged out one time. He gonna bug out again when he find out Shorty's a fucking cop. I mean, come on, man. So we don't got a story that he can keep to.
Yeah, see, now is when little man becomes a problem to them because he panicked and shot her, and so now they're worried he's gonna panic when he finds out she was a cop. So he's got to go.
We gotta fall back. I wanna see how they go with this Savino bullshit. See how they go past that. But if the shit don't hold, or this motherfucking cop wake up and start talking shit, then you gotta go sky up.
Going sky up means leaving town, hiding out,
Y'all,
out of pocket, in the wind.
Jersey, Cleveland, alright, so Philly, DC, you know what I'm saying? No profile, no connections, no noise. You feel me, right?
I wonder how much money somebody like Weebay's got saved up. Be able to just leave town and not have a source of income and not make any noise or have any connections in Philadelphia and survive for an extended period of time. And have his family back home survive. Or does he still get paid? Because how's that all work? Oh, this is news you don't want to deliver. Carver's got to tell Kima's lady friend that she is laid up in the hospital. And this is what everyone who is romantically involved with or intimately involved with a cop worries about. The news that they dread they're going to hear every single day. I get that from my wife to a certain extent because I'm out driving all night, all the time. So she's always worried that I'm going to hit something like a deer or that I'm going to get in a crash. Especially when it's snowing. And I do put myself at a higher risk statistically just because I do so much driving. Raises the odds, you can't deny that. It's like you can't drown in your own swimming pool if you don't have one. Type of deal. 0% of people who are non-gun owners shoot themselves with their own gun because they don't have one.
Officer Griggs has a girl?
Yeah, she's a lesbian, sir. It's 2002. That felt weird to say. It's 2002. Oh, man. I'm pretty sure that's when this was. This is 02 or 03. It's after 9/11. Fuck. This September, kids who were born after 9/11 will be 18 years old. That is fucking crazy.
If we lose her, he can always post for the funeral.
Yeah, fucking asshole. Tell him, Carver. Hey, Jimmy! Oh. Constant reminders of the fallen soldier. Gotta imagine a guy like Jimmy's gonna drink a shitload after a day like that. The sun is up. None of them have been to bed. He's got an extra shirt in his desk. Ballin'. That's taking care of your future self. This doesn't benefit me now, but it's going to someday. Slide that shirt in the drawer. There's the booze. That's my man, Jimmy. I'll smoke one with you.
Still need right officer, you know. His last known, his girlfriend, his mama, all of the owners.
Tracy's picking up this couple of years and more than these motherfuckers are bad neighborhood killers.
Or there are pros who set up in an alley on one side of the tracks and then slip over to the other side where they park their ride.
What about the post?
Cause and manner of death from Mr. Blocker.
So, that's Officer Cole. He was actually a cop in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken.
See my jacket. Casings were different too, so we confirmed the two shooters.
With the little man rise, deposit 221.
I don't think any of them have been to bed yet. They're all running on fumes and adrenaline and emotion.
Still a can. Drop at the payphone at Park Heights in Belvedere. Did a little visit when I got there.
Nothing was paid for. Park Heights, Belvedere.
It's a phone from where some motherfucker thinks string a bell 20 minutes after.
Freeman is the gangster motherfucker when it comes to police work. He should be running everything.
A Barksdale Pro in the Northwest, ringing up a boss minutes after the deed. So much for the amateur hour theory.
And who are you?
Good pull. You are?
Freeman, Lester Freeman.
Were you working?
Pawn shop unit. It kind of sucks for him because he's so good, and then he tells people he's in the pawn shop unit. So inevitably, he ends up having to explain his entire life fucking story to everybody because it's such a, like, you don't expect to hear those two things go together. It's like an oxymoron. He has a pull like that, does that kind of police work, and then you hear he works in the pawn shop division. You're like, wait, what? I gotta know more. How does this work? Surfing on the East Coast? I don't think so. Oh, bottoms of my feet are sore. You ever just rub the bottom of your foot? God damn. One thing that works well is a lacrosse ball, but if that's too hard for you, you can take those little yellow Nerf rival balls, the squishy ones, and just put one of those under your foot and sit there and roll it around. Matter of fact, Oh, poor Bubbles. Bubbles has been waiting for more than a day to meet up with Kima because she was going to front him some money so that he could get a place set up because he's clean and he's trying to stay clean and get on the straight and narrow. And now this is going to happen to him. He's been blowing up her pager. He doesn't have any idea what's going on. And so the cops are going to pull his card and bring him in to question him because they're like, why the fuck you been blowing up Kima's pager? And he's going to find out that she got lit up. And there goes his financial support for trying to maintain his sobriety.
Nah, man, ain't like that. Air down here all sticky.
See, Wallace got out of the city and he can't hang.
Don't cut out to be no country ass nigga.
He can't, he doesn't dig it at all. This is his mistake, though. He needed to stick it out. He comes back and that seals his fate. He needed to not do that. Once they discover you're gone and they start to get suspicious about you, you gotta stay gone. Also, unbeknownst to him, goddamn, you can see how broad his shoulders are and tell that he's gonna be big when he grows up. Unbeknownst to him, there's all this shit coming tumbling down on Avon and Stringer's head, and they're extra suspicious. So he doesn't realize how he's trifling with his own life right now.
I asked you your name.
Nah, this shit ain't right.
Who'd you try to page, shitbird?
Why the fuck do you care? Okay? I mean,
They should give Bubbles a little bit more of an explanation, like,
You have exactly 3 more seconds.
how would the people who killed her have her pager number? Why can't you...
Should have definitely opened the passenger door. So any latent pressure.
just gonna whoop his ass like that? It's fucked up. McNutty. It sounds like a candy bar at McDonald's. McNutty. Yeah, I'll take 2 apple pies and a McNutty. You guys have the McNutty McFlurry? Only on McTuesdays, sir. Welcome to McTuesdays, where we serve Ruby Tuesdays food with McDonald's quality and service. Ruby McTuesdays. What was that guy wearing? Was the body of his shirt see-through, or did he just have shoulder? Oh, it was fucked up. What is that guy wearing? You have a mirror at your house? Doesn't look good at all. I think if you wear that, you're not supposed to wear a wife beater underneath it. This is another benefit of being on their ass all the time. Inevitably, you're going to start to see things like stash drops and money runs because you're constantly observing them. Yep, called it. Knew Jimmy was going to hit the bottle. And hard.
Put that away and work the case.
let me ask you something.
That's the way you lead, Cedric. The show must go on. It's the bitch of being a leader. You never really get the opportunity to take the time for anything because you've got to set the tone for everybody else and show them that the work always goes on.
You want how much? All of it. But it doesn't work that way. Can't give it back.
That would be a fucked up situation to put yourself in.
No fucking progress. It's not conscious.
So McNulty's basically saying that he would give up this entire case and take it all back if he could if Kima never got shot. But I think if you asked Kima, she would say, fuck that. Do the police work. That's what we're supposed to do.
Homicide for me.
And that's what's important. If Kima is cool with it, you got to be cool with it. You gonna feel like a victim on her behalf? I think it's not right. If she can move on, pick up the pieces and move on, you're gonna have to do the same. She's the one who sets the tone. If she's broken and it really causes her distress, then maybe you have a reason to gripe.
Yeah. I'll live.
I'm fucked up with it. How about you? Mumbles a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly how drunk is he? He just body that whole bottle.
It ain't worth it, man. Nah, it ain't worth it at 10 times the price. Fucking cop, man, a cop. How stupid is this motherfucker?
Exactly.
Change it up.
Exactly.
He gonna say he was trying to signal, but he in the dark, you don't know where Bay's at, where they come
Oh, I get their angle. Okay. So they thought it was an opportunity
somehow.
to kill Orlando, and they weren't expecting a cop to be there.
Cop, if you wake up,
And if you kill him, it doesn't really matter if he's wired. They're going to know he's dead anyway. So the fact that she was there and surprised him and Lil Man shot her in a panic is the issue.
Savino, he gotta get the charge.
I got it.
But he knew that.
I was complaining for no reason.
Tight.
Makes more sense to me now.
We knew Orlando was
It was their opportunity to kill Orlando.
cash. Got us caught up.
He knows too much.
That's my fault, man.
Knew too much.
Savino came to me with the idea that, yo, if they take Orlando, they can take the cash too. I was like, all right, y'all get your payday. Yo, how the fuck is Orlando gonna front this type of cash?
That's the part. Exactly. How does Orlando have the money? That's the element of it that they missed.
All right, take this trash outside, fucking burn it. Tell Weebay clean up the mess before he jet.
Weebay's hard like a rock, as they say, so they trust him
He was throwing 911 messages.
to keep his lips sealed. But he's going to have to kill Little Man first and then leave town.
Shit got out of hand.
And he creeps D'Angelo the fuck out. Now Bubbles has to hear the news. For a character who doesn't say much, she's just about her business. Kima is loved by all these people.
We got no good latents on the passenger side doors.
What's there to hate about her?
About the dash.
She might snitch on you, but it's because you're doing something wrong and you probably deserve to be snitched on. She might be the most righteous character. Well, she does cheat on her girlfriend later and all that shit. At this point, she's probably the most
Wait around.
noble character.
You okay with that? Yeah. Just, I've been keeping it kind of close, you know? Ain't been around the project much lately. You know what I'm saying? Beefing with someone
See,
down there?
McNulty doesn't understand the situation. He's basically encouraging Bubbles to go back down to the pit and get information, and then he throws him a 20 so he can cop.
Kima.
Yeah, and he throws in for Kima. So now, of course, he's going to do it. He's managed to make it like 3 days. He was holding out for that few $100 from Kima so he could get a spot and chill out. And now McNulty's sending him out with a 20 to get information in the pit.
Not good enough.
It's a nice office, man.
We need him now.
No, thanks. Perhaps as an officer of the court, you could endeavor
Ronnie's being
to...
polite. She's a member of your twisted little tribe. So she's pretty good language. Me, I won't wipe my ass with a ball no more.
Let him know how you feel, McNulty.
I'm taken. I mean, I'm willing to let you those rat fuckers suborn perjury and blow smoke up a judge's ass and jury tamp your balls off without losing the slightest bit of my sunny disposition. That's between you and the IRS. Neither one of you is anybody's friend, right?
I think what Winnie is trying to...
Get him, McNulty.
Keep my nose close to your shit, and you're gonna have to throw me a little something when I need it. And right now, I need Savino Bratton in bracelets. Where are you?
Quid pro quo.
Last 4 felonies, I'm guessing you can get word to if you want.
Squid pro ro to you as well.
And Savino was there.
See, this is the weird thing about lawyers. They can kind of be on the other side of the law. And they have immunity.
There was no house left to worry about. And you
He's basically the linchpin of this criminal organization. He really helps them navigate legal issues.
I'm hearing this from him.
And he clearly
Distraught.
isn't operating in the interest of justice. He's operating in the interest of his client.
As well.
And you know he makes a shitload of money off this group.
I'll see what I can do.
Fuck you, Jimmy. You tell me that was coming.
Bring it in.
You will if you can. That's the point.
Well, what's the point?
The point.
Look at those news boxes. You don't see that anymore.
Of the Monumental Bar Association. And unless I want to spend my whole life as a fucking ASA, I can't spend my afternoons pissing on people who matter.
Have a career in the balance.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. If only half you motherfuckers in the state's attorney's office didn't want to be judges, didn't want to be targets, having fucking balls to follow through, you know what would happen? A guy like that would be indicted, tried, and convicted. And the rest of them would back up enough so we could push a clean case or two through your courthouse. But
He's
no,
got a point.
Everybody stays friends. Everybody gets paid, and everybody's got a fucking future.
Just use anyone, won't you?
That's how politics goes. You let me get away with my dirt because I let you get away with your dirt. You revealing my dirt leads to me revealing your dirt.
7 code, right? It comes up now and then on D'Angelo's pager. Stringers too, but less often.
Isn't that what the part of the premise of the movie, The Skulls? It's like they all do fucked up shit together and now they're intertwined forever. One goes down, they all go down.
The emergency room at Maryland General.
So self-preservation and group preservation are the same thing.
The date of this page is the same day that Stinkum got killed.
And Weebay got shot in the leg.
I was talking on the wire anyway.
Go to Maryland General and pull the ER records for that morning. You're gonna find Weebay in the pile. 07 is Weebay. It's gotta be.
They figured out Weebay's pager code.
Have Weebay
So now they know Weebay was a part of the scene.
Park Heights 20 minutes after the ambush.
Or the ambush, as they're calling it.
We're all over town for this piece of shit Savino.
With ties to the Barksdale organization.
Yes.
What else?
The case is progressing.
This has got to suck for Daniels because now everybody's eyes are on his little detail in this fucking case.
So right now, I want to make
And it would have been probably better for his interest and the case in general to have as few eyes from higher up on him as possible and just let him operate.
anything connected to a narcotics case. CIA
I'm not saying they shouldn't put their full energy towards trying to solve who shot Kima.
6 o'clock
It's just, if you were doing your detail and now all of a sudden Kima gets shot and you've got Burrell going, put a lot of fucking dope on the table and you're like, God damn it, this is just, oh, I just wanted to do my case.
The commissioner wants to send a message, Lieutenant. You make sure you and your people do everything possible to see that it is heard.
So I think they have to alienate all the information that they've gathered at this point just to appease Burrell and make a scene for the media.
Hey, it's like the man said.
Dope on the damn
Let
table.
them know who we are.
Yeah?
And who are we?
Who the hell are we?
Ain't got shit to say to that.
Again, for the record, let's make clear that Mr. Bratton has not been Mirandized and that what is said at this juncture is for purposes of a proffer. Agreed? Okay, then.
So they bring in a bag of baking soda or whatever the fuck and says that that's what he intended to sell him.
That's baking soda,
Yep.
which Mr. Bratton intended to sell to Orlando Blocker. You can keep it with our compliments.
Where's the money?
Mr. Bratton did not receive money. He left it in the car when he went to retrieve the sham cocaine. If you'll
Oh, see, this is what he gets to skirt around the law. He gets to construct this narrative in a way that limits the liability of his client.
Dumb luck that he left him in a dead-end alley and they were shot to shit just 2 minutes later.
This is bullshit. The police is down.
Like when you set out to become a lawyer and go to law school,
police officer.
do you have this intention in your mind ahead of the game? Are you on one side of the fence or the other? You're either
Ms. Nathan.
you want to have this kind of,
It's the shooters.
I don't even know what the word
We'll find a way
I'm
to
looking for
squeeze
is, this kind of cottage industry built around the drug game where you're an attorney that
Bratton has no idea who
helps
shot Mr.
defend
Blocker.
clear criminals, or are you somebody who seeks justice? It seems weird to me. Like, because I thought when I was younger I might be interested in being a lawyer. But it's because I was good at arguing and catching flaws in people's stories and continuity issues in their narrative. So for me, I was always picturing myself as proving somebody guilty. Or I guess even proving them innocent. But I never pictured like knowingly defending somebody that I knew was guilty as being an option. That seems weird to me. Do you pick that? Like, does it take a certain type of person? There are people that do both. It's kind of sketchy. Somebody, they have the right to an attorney, but it's a weird morality issue when you know that, like, you know somebody committed a murder and you have to go and try to get them off for that. Ugh. That would be a hard way to try to sleep at night. Wonder if he dropped that on the ground, if it'd break open and little vials would fall everywhere.
Orlando, yo. Still can't believe that shit.
Orlando's trifling ass got what he had coming.
This motherfucker. Who the fuck was he? He ran a club for my uncle, yo. Yeah? Yeah. First stink and now him. Yeah, man, and I heard the cop and all this Vino shit too.
Yeah, but your own crew killed Orlando. Not Stinkum got killed by Omar.
True. You can't just be going around dropping 5-0 like that, yo. You know how your uncle is when people get to fucking up, man. You start taking that shit personal, man. Well, a couple more niggas gonna get dropped.
Yo, what up? You deep? Yeah. He's saying you need to get with Stringer right away, yo.
Who the fuck is this messenger? They send somebody to get D who doesn't even know who D is? And he just casually walks away? How much does this guy get paid to do this? It's a nothing job. His nickname's $4 Jobs.
I'm not gonna lie. She's got swelling around the vertebra from a through and through, and some indications of partial paralysis. It might go away when the swelling goes down. It might not. Family's working.
Through and through means the bullet went all the way through her sternum, right? Or her torso.
The departmental
Partial paralysis might be due to swelling.
unit, every district is kicking in any drug-connected address they can write on. We're gonna do the same. Lieutenant,
Whenever I get a little bit of moxie and think that maybe I could have been a cop, I think about something like that happening one time. And I don't know if I can mentally get over that hurdle to go back out the next day. It might be too much for me.
still changing up.
It'd have to be something that I actively avoid thinking about. Like car accidents and shit when I'm out driving. If I start thinking about all the instances when I could get in a crash or what could happen or how bad it would be, it'd be paralysis by analysis. It's just, so be it, I guess.
4 and unit on the south side of the 221. They're dropping the re-ups out of the window to the hoppers who want it all. What if they change up the apartment? Well, they do that every day. Yesterday was the 5th floor on the north side.
We're gonna have a man on the church watching.
They change up the apartment every day. How do they have access to all these apartments?
We hit everything at 1100 hours.
I know they kind of run shit, but what if people are living, like, they know where all the vacants are, or they commandeer people's places, they throw them a little bit of cash? How's this work? They're not viling it up there.
Make the club open.
Because Omar's dead, you dumb motherfucker.
Hey, yo, babe. Keep it clean. Don't make no mistakes.
See, Stringer's stressed the fuck out, so he doesn't really want to make small talk. D'Angelo thinks that he's sending him out to be killed. But they wouldn't be this overt about it if that's what they were doing. He just said, keep it clean, no mistakes, and threw him the keys. Like, come on, man. You're getting a little bit paranoid here. He needs to get out. right? There's a snitch in the detail that's been running. It's Carver. He's been running and telling the higher ups anytime they get a little piece of information and they know that they withheld something.
Main stash. He knows we're on it. He knows we held it back.
The deputy. Yeah, we grab a senator's bag man in the projects. He knows that. State police come in here with a cooperator. He knows that too. It's like fucking clockwork. He's got a rat. Here, in the details.
Motherfucker.
Beginning, when we started,
Can't fight corruption with corruption.
blind everything to that motherfucker. Now,
He lost you. Now he's picked up someone else. That's how they do.
There's a mole inside the unit. That could almost be a dick joke. There's a mole on the outside of the unit. It's not a wart, though. Let's not be concerned. It's a French tickler. It'll tickle you even if you're not French. Oh, he's all happy now because he's back on the ticket to get reelected. Yay for him.
What now? We're on a prime location. Barksdale stash. Instead of sitting on it and making cases off it, he wants us to write a paper and take the door. Why? Dope on the table. It's a photo op tonight, all better by Key McGregor.
Oh, shit, son. Narcos hit the main stash. See, here is the point where the wave breaks, and Judge Phelan is no longer willing to stick his neck on the line for this case.
Just the usual bullshit.
He got his name back on the card, and he's not going the other direction.
Taking me around.
It's just like what Jimmy was talking about. Nobody wants to stick their neck on the line. They all play nice, and they all have a fucking future.
now we're back where we were. That's all it was.
You kind of see that in most organizations, I would say.
There's nothing to do.
At least that I've observed. It seems to be very prevalent in the legal system and the political system, at least.
So, who's my daddy?
People overcompliment and they hold back criticism because they're worried that that might be held against them by those people in the future. They're not willing to stand by what they believe and what they say.
It ain't all me to know what the fuck they have in mind.
So this whole car ride, D'Angelo thinks that he's going to get clipped by Weebay when they get wherever they're going.
Turn in this alley right here. Right there.
And because they have rules about not talking shop in the car, he can't tell them what's going on while they're in the car. See how inherently just seedy that those alleys are? You just feel like you're going to get raped and murdered down there. Looks like there's a fucking 15-pound pile of retainers and shoes back there. I don't know why I said retainers and shoes. It's just what I thought of at the moment.
Inside, man. Let's go.
Come on, D. If they were really going to kill you, do you think this is how they would go about it?
Yo, big man. Get in, motherfucker. We ain't got no knife for this shit.
The first time I watched it, it did build the tension, though. I thought that they were going to shoot him, but now that I'm looking at it, knowing that they don't, you can tell, like, this isn't how they would do it if they were going to do it. It's just not.
Man, get in here.
Weebay wouldn't be walking in front of him so much, giving him the opportunity to get the drop on him. It would be a more tactical situation. It wouldn't be so laissez-faire.
Hey, man.
Now he walks in here, he is shitting his pants right now. It's the Joe Pesci moment in Goodfellas when he walks in and realizes he's not being made, he's being killed.
Check it out, D.
Now it's just a room full of fish tanks.
You can feel him while he's on.
The sense of relief he must feel. Oh my god.
Food for each tank, too. All right?
And this is part of the humanizing of Weebay. we see a lot of the gangster, hardcore, callous Weebay. But this is the soft side of Weebay. He's got a bunch of fish tanks and he loves them.
You take 2 pinches of whatever food I got next to each tank. They set for the day.
He comes by here and feeds all these fish every day.
Beautiful as hell, D.
I guess you gotta, this is his release. He's making all this money doing all this hardcore murder, crime shit.
Where we going, man?
Evading the law every day. It's gotta be stressful.
Take this truck back, but first
He's
we gotta go upstairs, grab some shit, show you
comes and chills out with all these fish. He's got plenty of money for it. It's a hell of a setup. I'd have some more badass fish than that though. Not all those little bitch fish. Especially with all that room. If you want, let's go for it. Have one tank the entire length of that wall, and let's get some. Have it full of piranhas. I guess they aren't cool to look at. You gotta have a piranha tank, man. You're a badass motherfucker. How do you not have a piranha tank? You know you want that. Get a barracuda or something. Let's get crazy with it. See? That spot of marker on the couch that she hated. That's now a memory. It could be all like one of the only things she has to hold on to. So something that she despised, she now is now priceless to her. It's interesting how that happens.
Kid from the pit. He got the mix too. Think it was them that did it?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing too. Go pick up some of these motherfuckers.
I love Bunk.
It's Bay and Little Man. Sure want to shoot it too. I feel it, Bunk.
Yeah. Well, right now we need our girl to wake up and say so.
Right. Think good, boss.
You know, situation's different for me.
He still managed to keep it together for yet another day. And now he's trying to explain to McNulty and he just can't quite get there.
Prez will get you right. Okay.
Man. He's still got that 20 in his hand. I can identify with that struggle. I mean, I'm not a heroin addict, that made but I can really feel what he's going through. I don't know if it's the way it's written or how he plays it, but I'm just like, fuck, man, he's barely holding on. He's not gonna make it. You really feel sorry for him because you know that he's gonna fall back into the same thing and he's on the brink of going, like, his wave's about to break and roll back into his old habits instead of getting through that barrier and making it onto the other side. So because of their snitch in the detail, they had to roll on the main stash house today. God damn. It's a lot of dope on the fucking table. Look at all that shit.
Let's do it.
Ooh-wee. See, here they're gonna steal some of the money. They don't have ethical quibbles about doing that. And it's not on the wire like the last time that they got all the money was. So whatever amount they walk out of that room with is the amount that the superiors are gonna think was in there. Nobody knows any better. And it's not like the guy who owns the house is gonna come out and claim that there was more money. He didn't do shit. These guys getting patted on the back for a bunch of shit they weren't involved in at all.
And when an officer falls in this war, others stand ready to pick up the challenge and carry the fight to the very
I hate that guy.
And this is only the
gets to be the figurehead for a bunch of shit he had nothing to do with. And he made them jump the gun on the main stash. They could have kept that in their back pocket and done it whenever they wanted to.
Slow. Whole shit on
And it causes
nothing on the tower.
Avon and them to really change shit up. It gives them a true glimpse of their vulnerability when they know that they were that susceptible that the main stash got taken. That's their entire... That's the faucet just got shut off. They don't have anything coming in. Presbalewski doesn't know that that's Wallace and that he's talking about leaving and that he's supposed to be hiding out because he's a witness. If Daniels or McNulty had heard that, they would have known they had a problem on their hands and they need to go intervene and collect Wallace again and make sure he doesn't run back to the pit. But Presbalewski doesn't know better. I thought they were going to have her open her eyes there, but they don't. They have it hang. Undecided. The cliffhanger. Is Kima going to come out of this or not? Man, what a good fucking show. So that was episode 11 from season 1 of The Wire, titled The Hunt. Feel free to check out the previous episodes. I've done them all so far in season 1. If you haven't already, or my movie commentaries, I basically do the same process for various movies in horror or thrillers, comedies, whatever. You can find all those on my YouTube channel as well. I've broken them down into playlists to make them easier to navigate and digest. Also, you can find the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, just Google Avarice Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, Avarice Podcast, all under one banner. Anyway, until the next time, this is Devin signing out and saying, be easy.